here. What's
We're gonna be
on the
watching.
docket for us
I'm
today?
a watcher.
All right, so
I
we
think
got
we're
lloD versus
yeah,
West right now.
lloD West. That's crazy.
So
The
this
year
would
of our
be
Lord 2022.
winners. This is pools round 2 or pound 2 brews. I don't know. I had something. But the winner of this will be playing Bonfire 10, also known as Bonfire 420.
And
And
Bonfiero.
winner of that, Bonfiero, and the winner of that will play King Momo. And then the winner of that makes it to top 64 winner side. This is a stacked set of pools. And, you know, I'm surprised. I think the one thing that surprised me the most about this tournament so far is how few people DQ'd out.
That's right.
Really?
Everyone in my pool showed up.
That's insane.
That's actually is amazing, because I was worried that, you know, we're talking about biggest tournament of all time, but if the DQs are high, it's going to put a little asterisk on that. But
It's
if we
probably less DQs than Riptide, to be honest.
Evo itself.
Or Evo itself.
Yeah.
I mean, so I actually
It's more
went
expensive
through
to fly to a
Smash UG.
tournament.
Exactly. You can just show up in your house. But I went through Smash UG and I pulled how many people had never entered a tournament before for this tournament out of the people that entered. And it was something in the range of like 25 to 30%. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
That's actually insane. And it's great to, you know, have everyone here. All right, I've won
any
game
tournament
1.
ever hit that high of a number of like first timers?
Very big.
Maybe
so
some Indiana local in 2015.
Oh, definitely.
First starting.
A bunch of tournaments.
Right.
2013, 2014.
Right. So we've got Wes and lloD. lloD been having, even though the activity has kind of trickled compared to previous years, lloD's still active enough that we know him and know his strength. And then Wes has been actually a net play grinder on his stream, trying to come back into the scene.
The Deadly Alliance back in full force. One thing about lloD, we witnessed it. I think it was me and Chrome on commentary at Riptide. We witnessed lloD perform what I believe to be the first mid-set controller switch on stream in a major.
Wow. Between the different formats, I've seen people switch controllers, but I've never seen someone switch from keyboard back to analog.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Could be matchup dependent. I don't know what he's playing on today. Wes, it's kind of wild seeing him. At like my first tournament in 2013, he was my round 1 winners. And he said the most important thing was to have fun. And then he hit me with the secret spike on up B.
Is this the origin story of your hatred of Samus?
It might be, actually.
Like this is the Garden of
Joker
Eden
moment.
when you were told to have fun and it wasn't fun.
I became the Joker from MTV's The Joker. For sure. But yeah, no, he's doing well. He's pretty active. I know he's playing a bunch of net play tournaments.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning of net play, I ran into him, and they were pretty close games. But then since then, I've watched his stream quite a bit, and I no longer think I could take Wes. So that's kind of the constant thing when we talk about, if you went back in time, how long could you last against the top players before they adapted?
I lose to this
and
guy.
The answer is like, the answer is like 3 days on net play.
Yeah, I do not. Yeah.
You just gotta get your mind games up.
Right. Ooh.
Both of these players definitely big on mind. lloD being a doctor, going to school, actually making something of himself, so that's already better than 98% of us.
That's right.
Yeah. And definitely a lot of experience in the slower matchups. A lot of dittos with Polish, the greatest player of all time. And often I think like which tournaments count and don't count, and it's pretty much like if Polish is there.
Yeah.
I think we can agree that Summit was a Mickey Mouse tournament.
There was a really tough competition.
Excuse you?
I'm just saying, you know, you don't have the best
we
player
know
in the
it's a
world
Mickey
there.
Mouse tournament. You don't need to pay your dues on mic here. It's a safe space.
All right.
But without Polish there, it just begs the question.
I could shut this whole thing down right now.
Do it. Do it.
Changing the stream key and not telling Juna.
Much like Tom Brady's rings, Summit championships don't count. You need like 3-4 more rounds of people like me that they got to beat before they play each other.
Your ass is never working in this town.
Because what if Chroma played good
It never worked in this town. Never ever worked in this town. So lloD's got a pretty solid lead here, but I like seeing Wes trying to cover all the different options on recovery, but it just doesn't work.
So I play a lot of Samus on net play, and this is one of the matchups where I switch off because I think it's actually really hard. It kind of reminds me emotionally, maybe this is off base, but it reminds me emotionally of like Marth Peach in a way, but you're not playing Marth, you're playing Samus. So like you can sort of try to camp with projectiles, but there's just so many ways for Peach to both move and challenge the projectiles at the same time. Peach's projectiles on their own are really nice too. And it's hard to get a kill. Yeah, Blast Shot looks great, but you know, we often compare it to like Falcon's knee, and you have to fucking commit 3 seconds in order to get one knee.
And it's just like Peach can hit missiles. Samus can't really do that with turnips.
Yeah.
So one of them just has a lot more visceral of a threat, excuse me, on the projectile game. It's not like Samus can't hit Peach with projectiles, but it's different. I don't know. Peach always just seems to have a couple
Samus's
more
projectiles
tools.
just lose to everything. The charge shot loses to everything.
That's absolutely just not true.
Yeah.
Mikey is hard in game right now.
Mikey, tell us about your game between the games.
Last stock game 2, I made it out of pools.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Everybody.
We're locked in, baby.
In winners?
In winners, yeah.
On God?
On God.
It's different.
I'm simply built different.
He's constructed in a way that is not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, who do you got? Do you got to play your second round right now?
No, it's in a couple hours. It's against Fiction.
It's against Fiction. All right, well that's pretty easy.
Yeah, that's definitely not the same level of challenge as killing Samus.
I watched him lose to France, and I'm sure he didn't learn anything from it. So you're probably good.
All right, Dreamland. What do we think about this?
We're going back to the stage, huh? Sure are. There are a lot of parts of this stage, huh?
I kind of like the idea of getting a little weird with it and doing the bomb, because you could grab the turnips out of the bomb when you're in the little ball, and just kind of having a little turnip war. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I like the idea. That's why I said that.
I think Samus is all about kind of mentally unbalancing your opponent.
Yeah.
And then also making them beat the same things over and over again can be really attritive in a long set.
Yeah.
So like
there's definitely a Dormammu kind of quality to Samus.
They really are. I mean, they really, really do. I mean, because you just have to keep executing over and over again for 12 minutes in some of these cases. But lloD has just, you know, an infinite clock of patience.
Yeah, and infinite turnips. There's a lot in that ground. It's very fertile soil.
Yeah, you don't come out of Pittsburgh and MDVA without that. But Wes, I mean, he's been here 20 years. It's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's power shielding now.
See, he loses to everything.
I see what you're saying now. You've got a point. I like to see Wes like go after the floats. You don't really see that many Samuses.
I also like Wes's mixing up of the wave dash sizes. Wes finding some very tough needles to thread with these wave dash back into charge.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is actually really smart, because you need to have the threat of an actual kill move besides a really strong back air or a lucky down air, because if Peach is constantly floating, you got to challenge her in the air, and charge shot is the best thing, but it takes a long time to get your best option.
It does. You just have to charge for a while, and then you're kind of at mercy with either Peach running you down or turns. But Wes is finding a way to do it. And then when lloD gets a little bit... Oh, no.
Yeah. Do you think that was supposed to be just the single click and be like a neutral air, or was he trying to regrab? I'm betting a regrab.
I'm not sure. You might have just messed with me.
There
we go.
Kind of like that regrab.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in between the bombs, the chilling tech.
Wes, infamous for terrorizing Hugo and East Coast, West Coast crews with the extender. As somebody else, extender!
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 That's what the man said.
Yeah, you can't beat somebody. Oh, wow.
Oh.
So that was, you're saying the hitbox and the actual visual charge shot are a little bit different there.
In my like melee notebook that that Matt.Zeb stole from me years ago, I have a picture of what Peach actually looks like when you're trying to hit, to remind myself that the dress is an illusion.
That was one of the great Armada Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss moments where he's like, I am high pixels missing Marth's up B range, or, you know, like up tilt or up air. And it turns out he's literally just like spacing the dress above it, and Peach's hitbox starts like halfway up her body.
For a little moment, I was all three of those things.
Yeah. For a little moment, I was thinking, you know, top players gaslight us a lot, but then I thought, I gaslight me a lot when it comes to melee. So they just gaslight at the same rate as anybody else.
I was just thinking yesterday, there's this Peach player named Sherbert in Arizona who used to always ban FD against me because he thought that Luigi had a chain grab against Peach, and I never told him that wasn't even remotely
Turned down
true.
for Walt having to make like a 10-minute video on how IBDW's FD strategy is just completely bonkers dog shit is a good example of why gaslighting is such a problem, because it takes you a lot longer to fix the problem than to invent it.
I played a guy who refused to speak English and then just like picked the stage. Like he pretended he couldn't speak English and then just counterpicked me game 1. He's like, no stage strike, I'm just gonna go here. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, sure.
Yeah, I've liked, so to get back briefly to the match where I think that I've liked a lot of Wes's ideas, but they just aren't good enough to solve the core problems, right?
Yeah.
And once lloD gets this lead, I mean, it's the classic floating matchup problem, right? Where it's more like an 8-stock game than a 4-1. And lloD's walls have just been, okay, let's float over some projectiles. Let's throw up some projectiles back of my own. And if there's ever an approach towards me with wave dashing, I'm going to either nair or shield or back air. I mean, Samus already is playing the game with rock and paper, and scissors is often way too risky. And Peach is really good against rock and paper.
Oh, there's a rock. There were some good parts where Wes would, for example, like when lloD would float in at kind of that mid height, he would just dash attack as lloD came down.
Yeah, that's
and now lloD responded with, I'm not going near you.
Yeah, that's a thing that Samus is like to get. Even against a Marth who's like double fairing, if you can thread the needle and either get a dash attack in between the two fairs or get it right. Oh, bomb. Just abandon it. I think lloD had enough budget to try to go for something with the bomb, but I guess unnecessary at this point. Why risk it even a little? Ooh, was that shield?
Power shield that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think he just missed the timing, honestly. Which is weird because, like, power shielding, it's funny because the missiles will often not make it back to Samus. But you can just nair, right?
This is we're 4.5 minutes in, I think.
5.5.
5.5.
I did
okay.
math totally wrong yesterday, so I'm not going to talk.
No, I can't help but trust you. You're just good at that.
But look at this. I mean, there's really no reason that lloD has to go anywhere near him. And one person who's really good about playing these situations is the Swooper. The Swooper just believes that he will be able to claw his way back into these games.
At 135 last stock versus Feature 3?
You know, I've seen him win them. But this
I don't
is
believe
gonna be
you.
rough.
I actually don't believe you.
Yep, six minutes. Quick
Minute
game.
There we go. There's your timer, everyone.
6 minutes.
Fox mains who believe that 6 minutes is cool and good.
One of the most revolutionary things I ever saw was at Mango's house when he had one of those pre-summit streams. He would make all the floaties play 4-minute timers.
Yeah. I think the idea of universally changing the rule set to like deal with this is a little silly, but I don't actually mind the idea of different stock counts for different matchups. I think you should be able to gentleman stock count. Yeah.
Like if you're a Fox and you're sitting with like Puff, Samus, Peach, you're playing less time than them. It's not equitable.
Yeah. Do you think the cheat? How do you feel about this proposal? I'm just saying you can gentleman your timer. As long as it's less than the tournament timer, you can gentleman it. Stocks, as long as they're less than tournament stocks, you can gentleman. How's that feel?
Why can't I just play melee like everyone else?
You can. I'm saying gentleman.
You could pick a better character.
Why are you even suggesting that in the first place?
You're offended by my suggestion? You're offended by the idea of two consenting floaties playing a 2-stock matchup?
You can pick a different character.
Well, Mikey, maybe you should try eating better. Maybe you should try working in a salad every once in a while.
That's not... Hey,
it's exactly the same.
I would never.
No, Crumba, he's got us. It is exactly the same.
It's exactly
any difference.
Gennaro, I'm gonna
there isn't any difference.